First tonight, dozens of bodies have been pulled from the cold water of the Potomac River in Washington, D.C. An American Airlines jet last night and a military Black Hawk helicopter that collided mid-air.
All 67 people were killed. That crash captured on this EarthCam video as the passenger plane was landing at Reagan Washington National Airport.
And here's new video showing a different angle now of the crash. You can see the Army chopper flying into the American Airlines jet. There was a big explosion there during its final approach to the airport runway last night.
Both aircraft were in a standard pattern of flight. The American Airlines jet was inbound from Wichita, Kansas, heading over the Potomac. The flight tracking data shows that the plane was approaching to land at Reagan Airport around 350 feet at the last transmission, and the Army Black Hawk helicopter was heading south, flying at around 200 feet at last transmission. The map showing where they collided right over the Potomac.
The collision is now the deadliest U.S. air crash since 2001, and now a dire recovery effort is happening on the Potomac.
The emergency responders say they don't expect to find any survivors. Fox's Kaylee Schuyler joining us live now from Reagan National Airport. Kaylee, how could this have happened is the question everyone's asking today.
Well, that certainly has been the big question today, Mark and Christina. The main message from officials all day has been that this accident was preventable. Like you mentioned, aircrafts are flying, military aircrafts are flying in this area all the time. They both were in a standard flight pattern, and the crash happened just moments before the American Airlines jet was supposed to land here at Ronald Reagan around 9 o'clock last night. As you mentioned, cameras captured the moment, and audio from aircraft controllers shows the initial reactions.
Fire command. The accident happened in the river. Both the helicopter and the plane crashed in the river. It was probably out in the middle of the river. I just saw a fireball and then it was just gone. So I haven't seen anything since they hit the river, but it was a CRJ and a helicopter that hit.
Right now, just over 24 bodies have been recovered as hundreds of first responders have been on the scene. The American Airlines flight left from Wichita, Kansas, with 64 people on board, including 4 crew members. Among those traveling were athletes, coaches, and parents of the U.S. and Russian figure skating community. They were returning from the U.S. Figure Skating National Development Camp. Now, the military Black Hawk helicopter involved was on an annual training mission with 3 soldiers on board. The pilot in charge had 1,000 flying hours, which is considered very experienced, and the co-pilot had 500 flying hours, which is considered a normal amount of experience. Officials say it's not unusual for military aircraft to be flying in this area.
You live in D.C., you see a lot of helicopters going down into this area, so there's a very well-defined system in that regard. As far as altitude, until we get the additional information, we can't validate or basically corroborate any of that until we get more of the electronic data and the data that's on the plane.
Well, it was eerily quiet here at Ronald Reagan this morning, but now flights have resumed and investigators are still in the frigid conditions trying to look for victims or any debris. Federal investigators are hoping to have a preliminary report in 30 days. Mark, Christina.
Kelly, thank you for that tonight. That mid-air crash in D.C., of course, it is having ripple effects across the country, including for some, increasing the fear of flying.
So Phoenix Sky Harbor Airport, one of the busiest airports, and there's a military base with helicopters really close by. Fox 10's Brian Webb spoke with a local Black Hawk pilot about their training. Brian.
Well, nearly a dozen near misses have made headlines lately, and the feds just finished a study on the issue. The findings, according to an aviation attorney, was if not when a crash like this would happen, and now we know. A Black Hawk helicopter comes to the rescue last summer during flooding at Havasupai Falls, launched from Papago Park Military Reservation in Phoenix. Colonel Harrell is a pilot and director of safety.
Your heart goes out to every one of those folks that's involved.
The colonel says the Black Hawks here are used in constant training, sometimes several flights a day, just like the chopper involved in yesterday's crash. So training, equipment, and communication are key.
When I take off from here, we're talking to Sky Harbor and getting a clearance to take off from here. We have established corridors throughout the valley to ensure that we have separation from fixed-wing aircraft.
This National Guard base is actually within the air traffic space of Sky Harbor Airport, less than 4 miles away. So when one of these helicopters takes off, they're not only communicating with military personnel, but with civilian air traffic control.
We now have gotten that mid-air collision that we knew was inevitable.
Mike Slack is an aviation attorney based in Texas and a pilot. He says flying into Reagan National Airport is serious business for anyone.
Opportunity for two aircraft being at the same place and the same time is very high.
Slack believes the NTSB investigation will include the mixing of military and civilian airspace, along with better communication systems in the air and on the ground. He hopes the findings will change things for the safer from D.C. to Sky Harbor and beyond.
I think you'll see the NTSB be pretty aggressive and proactive on this because they have been hearing about the risk and now it materialized.
I know personally what goes into making sure that civilian aircraft is safe, we're safe. So I got no problem on getting on an airplane and flying to DCA in a couple weeks.
The Associated Press is reporting the Army had 15 flight and 2 ground major incidents last year alone. Bad enough, the Army paused flights to go over safety procedures. Live in Phoenix, Brian Webb, Fox 10 News.
Thank you, Brian. It will take months, if not longer, for investigators to pinpoint an exact cause of this tragedy.
But we are getting a better idea of what transpired moments before the crash. Fox 10's Ellen McNamara is here now with more on that. Ellen.
And guys, I can show you the routes that were used by both pilots. And today I spoke with someone very familiar with this area. He used to fly into it often. Now, the pilots in the American plane here, they were originally going to be landing on the main runway right here. However, for some reason, they were going to land at runway 33. But that does happen. This can happen actually pretty often because it is a very crowded airspace. Now, the helicopter was coming from here and it was moving south. This is where the collision happened, right there. And that is where the communication breakdown happened.
What we have here is a very unfortunate confluence of events.
Dr. Mike McCormick is a former VP of the FAA Air Traffic Organization and an expert on airspace rules over the D.C. area. He says military helicopters are taught to give the right of way to commercial jets landing at Ronald Reagan Airport.
That route is designed that the helicopters would fly east over a peninsula away from Washington National Airport in order to allow for arrivals and departures on the primary runway.
He says because of strong northwest winds, Flight 5342 had asked for and was given approval to land at a secondary runway. Air traffic control then instructed the Black Hawk to pass behind the commercial flight. But Dr. McCormick believes the helicopter pilot did not see the incoming jet.
With the attitude of the aircraft landing at Washington National runway 33, it would be difficult for the helicopter to visually acquire it because the lights would have been turned away from the helicopter.
He says the same would have been true for the pilots of the American Airlines flight.
The aircraft would have difficulty visually acquiring the helicopter because they were focused on lining up and landing on final for the runway.
Then there is the question of the traffic collision avoidance system. It's designed to alert air traffic control when aircraft are too close to one another. But Dr. McCormick says that system is only designed to operate in flight and not when aircraft are at low altitude or close to airports.
Otherwise, there would be a constant TCAS alert going off in and around the vicinity of the airport.
Now, the flight data recorder, the black box, has not been recovered yet, and that should help figure out exactly where that communication breakdown happened. We do expect the NTSB preliminary report to be out in about 30 days, and that could also give us some answers that right now we just do not have. Guys, back to you.
Ellen, thank you. Well, President Trump has set his sights on DEI standards at the Federal Aviation Administration. He signed an aviation order today, rolling back federal diversity initiatives. The president blames the Biden and Obama administrations for lowering aviation standards. He repeated, without evidence, that federal diversity programs contributed to this fatal crash. We'll have reaction ahead on Fox 10 News at 6.
Just a few weeks ago, there was a close call at Sky Harbor Airport. Two passenger jets narrowly avoided a mid-air collision. It happened on January 11th when a United Airlines flight from San Francisco and a Delta Airlines flight from Detroit came dangerously close to each other as both were trying to land. And at one point, the planes were only 425 feet apart. NTSB guidelines say those planes should always stay at least 5 miles apart. Both pilots aborted their approaches, circled the airport, and then landed safely. The FAA is still investigating that incident. We'll have much more ahead at 5:30 on the deadly crash. We'll hear from the co-pilot's father, who is a pilot himself. You can also get the very latest online at fox10phoenix.com and on the Fox local app.